Welcome to another Meeples and Milkshakes Board Game Cafe unboxing video. I'm Jim. We have 17 boxes to go through. So that is a lot of boxes, and we're going to have to go fairly quickly through the restocks, and then we'll just spend some time on the new stuff. And there's some new stuff, and there's lots and lots of restocks in this. We're making sure that we have the things that we know people are going to want over the holidays in enough supply. So bunch of stuff to open starting now. First up, we have a restock of Charterstone, and I had never seen this bottom panel of it before. That's very cute. It does show that it's a 1 to 6 player game. This is my favorite legacy game. It's awesome, and you should definitely try it. Moving on to the next one. This is Viticulture Essential Edition. One of the best worker placement games, and by the same company as Charterstone. This one has been special ordered, and I believe there's some more in this shipment that will be on the shelf. And then a new game, it's Gùgōng, and it is a game that I have not played yet, and it looks very, very cool. And I've always wanted to try this game, but we're gonna have to look at it together. It is a 5-player game. Takes about 90 minutes, so you know that probably means 2 hours your first game with a teach. No problem. If I remember correctly, this is a worker placement game. I love worker placement games. I wish I could say more, but it's been a long time. I just saw it come back in stock at the distributors, and I was like, hey, we've never been able to have this here before, and I've always wanted to try it, so brought it in. Gùgōng, very cool. One box for one game. Wow. This is Cthulhu Death May Die Season 2 with, wow, almost as many awesome minis, maybe more than the original game, which is a game full of awesome minis. An expansion by Rob Davao and Eric Lang. This is the first time we've had this. And what does it say here? Season 2 expands the action of Cthulhu Death May Die, bringing the terror and insanity to new heights. Featured inside are 10 new investigators and 6 new episodes, introducing an array of new nightmarish monsters for you to face, all fully compatible with any Elder 1 or investigators from the core box. Very cool. This is neat. If you are a fan of Cthulhu Death May Die, this is now available. We only have the one right now. I hope we can get more if we need to, but if you want it, better come get it. Hooray! We were completely sold out of Undaunted North Africa, the great follow-up to Undaunted Normandy, and we were down to our last couple copies of Undaunted Normandy. I highly recommend that you check out the Shut Up and Sit Down review of this game. It's one of the best reviews I've ever seen by anybody. It's awesome. The game is great too. And I haven't played North Africa yet, and I definitely want to try that. And there's another one coming out sometime, can't remember if it's late this year or early next year, called Reinforcements. So that's Undaunted. Moving on. There we go. Tournament Camelot is a very, very fun competitive trick-taking game. So take that game for sure. You are trying to win tricks or lose tricks according to the current strategy in the game in order to inflict the most damage you can to your opponents and avoid damage yourself. Super, super fun. It plays up to 6 players. I've never gotten sick of this. I played it a whole bunch of times, and I have not played yet Tournament at Avalon, which is in this shipment somewhere, but it sounds very similar to Tournament Camelot, and I want to try that too. Here's a game. It's just weird, but I've never played this game. It's very, very famous, and for some reason I've just never gotten around to trying it. But we've brought it in, and this is a game that is rated ages 13 and up, which is kind of surprising because I've always thought of it more of a kid's game, but I'm not sure it is. So something I want to give a try. And yeah, there it is, Rio Grande 10-year edition. This is the 10-year edition of Coloretto. Oh, there it is. Been waiting for this for a long, long time. This is Viscounts of the West Kingdom. This is the third game in the West Kingdom trilogy from Garfield Games and Renegade Game Studios. I have not played this yet, but I know it is one of the most highly anticipated games of this fall. I can't wait to try it. I'm a big fan of Architects and Paladins of the West Kingdom. I love both of the games. And this is the conclusion. And then we have the West Kingdom Tomesaga, which requires all 3 games to play. So this is an expansion. So it says here, the following games are required to play the West Kingdom Tomesaga campaign: Architects, Paladins, and Viscounts. Even with only 1 or 2 of the games above, players are still able to use the cooperative play modes and bonus content for those games. So that's a little bit unclear to me. I thought you needed all 3 games all the time. Maybe you don't. Check it out. I thought I understood that clearly, but I don't know, maybe not. But holy cow, it says on the back here, 1 to 6 hours. So this is some, well, they did say saga. This is some big, huge thing that combines all of those games into one. Very neat. Some of these Viscounts and Tomesagas are already spoken for, but we have some left. And if you'd like one, you'll be able to find them right away at meeples.ca and in store until they're gone. Okay, next up, I've actually never seen the boxed version of this game. I was gifted this game by my brother-in-law in an envelope. He had bought the Kickstarter, and he put all the little pieces in an envelope and sent it to me in the mail. And this is a cute little game called Province. I haven't played this in, I don't know, maybe 6 years or something, but I had so much fun playing this game. It is a 2-player game, and it takes about 25 minutes to play. It is very fun, and when I saw that it was available in a box to buy, I jumped on it, because it's a very fun, simple game, and it's a clever strategy game. It's been a long time, but I actually recently found my personal copy of it, and I'm looking forward to trying it again. Province. Next up, a game that Lucas said we should bring in, because he's always looking at the copy in our library. It's a beautiful game, The Lady and the Tiger. There's actually 5 games in this box that use the same components, and the art is done, well, you can see from the back of the or from the front of the box, the art is beautiful. The art in the cards in this game art is truly astounding. You should look online to see just how amazing it is. The artist is a Disney artist, Disney cartoonist. You can tell it's just awesome game. And now we finally have it for sale for the first time. The Lady and the Tiger. We had sold out of Deep Sea Adventure. This is one of those oinky games from Japan that comes in a tiny little box. But it's not a tiny little game. It's a small game, but it's not a tiny game. It's a great game, though. It's a push your luck game. You're trying to go down underwater as far as you can to get some riches, but you're taking a risk because you might run out of oxygen on the way up, and you don't want that to happen for obvious reasons. 2 to 6 player game, which takes about 30 minutes to play. I have played this and I loved it. So there it is. Now we have more. Whoa, that's not cool. I mean, I've seen these mats enough to know that it's going to be okay, but I would have preferred that they didn't send it like this to me. This is a very cool Megamat. This is 34.5 inches by 48 inches. It has, what, 1 inch? I think it's 1 inch. Yeah, 1 inch squares on the front and 1 inch hexes on the back. Great for playing D&D and other games where you need to draw a map and reuse it. You would use, is it wet erase markers? I can't remember. I think it's wet erase markers you use on this, and then you can, clean it off after you're done with it. It's a great mat. This is the one you want if you're a role player and you want a mat that fits on the table. Well, this is going to fit on a big table. And then in another box, oh no, it's in this box. In this box we have another one. This is the regular size Battlemat. It has the same size as the squares, but it's 23.5 inches by 26 inches. So this will fit on more tables, and give you more space for players to have their character sheets and everything. It's a more reasonable size for a map. If you really want the big one, then go for the big one. But if you're not sure, I would go for the little one. But they're both awesome. I've been playing with these for years and highly recommend them. There you go. Keeping with the RPG theme, Animal Adventures RPG Starter Set. Join intelligent cats and dogs on a spellbinding adventure. Created for beginners, this set is your gateway into the magical world of role-playing games. Inside is everything you need to play a thrilling RPG campaign with no experience needed. Explore exciting locations, face fearsome and fantastical beasts, and have fun. So, as it's described, this is a beginner's RPG. So if you've never played an RPG and you want a gentle introduction, my understanding is this is a wicked fun alternative to starting with D&D, which is, you know, a great first RPG as well, but I'd say this is probably even simpler, and it does have a very exclusive mini inside. You can see on the back all the minis that are in here. They're pretty cool. If you like puppers, then I would recommend getting this just for the minis, but hopefully you'll play the game too. Looks like a lot of fun, and yeah, so there it is. We have 2 of these that are going to go by our RPG stuff. Next up, we have some special ordered sleeves. Not too much to say about that, except that we can special order you sleeves. So these are Gamegenic matte sleeves. They're very high quality, and if you need sleeves, whether they're clear or opaque, just ask us. Especially if you know the brand, and just tell us which ones you want, and we can get them in. Next up, we have a restock of Gloom, which we brought in once before and sold out of. It's a fun game for 2 to 4 players. I've only played it once, had a lot of fun. But you see it has these transparent cards, which are pretty cool, and comes in a little box, so it's a good stocking stuffer game for sure, and it's a lot of fun. That's Gloom. The Court of Miracles. So this is a game that I know pretty much nothing about, except that it comes from Lucky Duck Games, and they make good games. And it's a 2 to 5 player game, which plays in a quick 40 minutes. And I did a quick read on this. It was just coming out, like it's brand new, just first time that stores are getting it right now. And I thought, well, I don't know, should I get this? I haven't heard about it. But I took a look, and it looks really fun. And I really love the components, and the art quality is great. You can see here, it even comes with a cloth bag and some very, very, very high quality looking components. And I think it's worth taking a look at. Antoine Bauza, is the designer, and that was one of the thumbs up signs for me. Obviously, he's an amazing designer, and I think the art is nice, the components look good, publisher is good. Why not give it a try? The Court of Miracles. I'm really surprised, honestly, that I haven't been hearing more about this game, given this quality of attributes. Next up, we have a puzzle that is special ordered. We have 2 of them, so one is going to be in stock and one is special ordered. This is Lakeshore Swans, and it's a 1,000-piece Schmidt puzzle. And I think in our next shipment, we'll also have some more puzzles, like some more Schmidt puzzles coming in. So we still have trouble getting lots of puzzles in, but honestly, we don't have the space for them. We have to keep them in our warehouse and then bring them in when people order them. Sadly, I'd love to have more room, but we don't. So in the meantime, we still have puzzles, and there's some new ones. Ooh, this is the fun weird box version of 5 Minute Dungeon. The one that I have in our library is it's a regular square box. That was the Kickstarter, but this is a cool box. 5 Minute Dungeon is a super fun game. You might have heard Cheryl oohing and awing there as we pulled this out of the box. She loves 5 Minute Dungeon. I know Xavier loves 5 Minute Dungeon, and I love 5 Minute Dungeon. It's great. This game will get your pulse up. You will actually be tired by the end of playing this game, and you will play this game quite a few times before you finally give up, because it's so fun. It is a real-time game in which you and your friends are trying to beat the clock and defeat all the baddies in the deck of baddies before time runs out. And you have to do that by working together, and you're gonna draw cards, and it's gonna tell you what cards you guys have to play collaboratively. So it'll say you need some swords and you need some feet and whatever, and then whoever's got them in their hands have to slam them down. But if you slam down too many, well, then you wasted them. You don't want to play more than you have to, but inevitably that will happen, and you're just trying to be clever, and clever enough that you can actually beat the clock. The first couple levels are relatively easy, but after that, it's pretty darn hard. And you have to really get to know your characters. But again, each level is 5 minutes, and so it takes a couple minutes to set up between games. You know, typically we would play like 6-8 rounds of this before we stopped playing. So by the end of that time, your heart's going because you've been playing, and I just can't say enough good things about this. This one is special ordered, and this one is going to be on the shelf. Sushi Go Party. This is a great party game. One of the best, honestly, and this is the party version of Sushi Go, which plays 5 players, but this plays up to 8 players. It's a very similar game, it just has a bit more variety. It's a very fun drafting and set collection game, basically. Drafting means that you're gonna get a hand of cards, take one card, pass the rest to the next person. You're gonna receive cards from your other neighbor, and you're gonna take cards one at a time and pass the cards around until they're all gone. And then you're going to score for what you've collected over the course of the round. Very simple game, lots of fun, tons of replayability, really fun. And now we have a couple more in stock. What have we got in here? Oh, it's a D&D Starter Set. I can see that on the back of the box. Let's open this carefully. Oh, it's all the D&D. Excellent. So we have a Monster Manual, Player's Handbook, another Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, an Essentials Kit, and 2 Starter Set. We're out of the Starter Set, so now we have that back in stock. And we needed to make sure that we had plenty of the D&D books because you know, we know those are going to be popular over the next 2 months or 3 months and beyond. And it really hurts when we run out of those things and somebody says, "Hey, you got the Player's Handbook?" And I'm like, "No, I'll get it soon." So now I have lots. That's good. All right, next box. First up, I haven't had this in quite a while, Betrayal at Baldur's Gate. Some people think this is the best version of Betrayal. I have not played this one. I do love Betrayal House on the Hill, but this is the D&D themed version of Betrayal. Never split the party unless someone is the traitor, as it says on the box. Restock of Scooby-Doo, Betrayal at Mystery Mansion, so another Betrayal game, one of the 3 or 4 that are around now. 4 if you include the Legacy version, which we have in stock. This one has 25 scenarios in it that are all Scooby-Doo themed, and it's very fun. Ooh! Need to make sure we never run out of this game. The Crew, which has won so many awards. It didn't it win the Kenner Spiel des Jahres? I think so. It should have. I'm pretty sure it did. The Crew, which is a cooperative trick-taking game. We have sold a ton of this, and I'm hoping we will sell a ton more because we just brought in another couple handfuls of it. What a great game. It's in our library. Definitely come down and give it a try. And then there's Role Player, which we were out of, the Keith Mateka game, Role Player, in which you are building a RPG character. That is the actual game itself, building a character. And it's really fun. And it has the Seal of Excellence from Dice Tower, which means it's an amazing game. And that's why it's so good and so popular. So I just looked, and we did not have this on the shelf, which is unfortunate because we do have it in our overflow stock, and we just hadn't noticed it was sold off the shelf, so we should have brought it down, but now we don't have to because now we have it. Sonora, the world's first flick and write game. It's amazing. I had a lot of fun playing this, and I can't wait to try it again. Take a look on BGG. Pandasaurus Games does it again. Restock of Aqualin, which we had recently sold out of. This is a 2-player game, plays in 20 minutes. It looks gorgeous on the table. It also sold out of the deluxe edition of Puerto Rico, and so now we have the deluxe edition back in, and it has nicer components than the basic version. It's a little bit more money. If you are into that, then there you go, deluxe edition. Succulent has actually been extremely popular at the cafe. It's been played repeatedly, and it is a very, very pretty game, and so it's not too surprising that it's been played so much. This is a Renegade Game Studios game by J. Alex Cavern, and plays, I think, 4 players? Yep, 2 to 4 players in 45 to 60 minutes. And you're planting vegetables in your greenhouse. How cool is that? I like games with different themes, especially ones that aren't nasty themes like some other games that we just pulled out of the box. And then we have Smartphone Inc., which is an Arcane Wonders game, Cosmodrome Games. It's a up to 5 player game. It does have a solo mode, plays in 90 minutes. I love the art in this game and the components. It's very minimalist, but very cool, very modern looking. It has the Seal of Excellence as well from Dice Tower, which means that it's a great game. And we've been out of this for a while. Glad to have it back in. Next up, Tekhenu, Obelisk of the Sun. This is the second game in the series that started with Teotihuacan, I don't know how to say it, but I can say this one a little better. Tekhenu, Obelisk of the Sun. Very cool game, and it's by Board and Dice, designed by Danielle Tassini and David Turksey, and it has a solo mode, and ages 14 and up. It's a pretty serious game, fairly hefty box, very cool. As promised, Tournament at Avalon is in the box. This is the follow-up to Tournament at Camelot. Standalone companion game, so you can play this standalone. I think there's also a way to play it with compatible with Tournament Camelot. So included 7 to 8 player variant combines both games. So if you have both, then you can play this with 8 players instead of the normal 6. Unfortunately not here because we're not allowed to have tables of more than 6 here right now, but someday we'll enjoy a Tournament Avalon and Camelot mashup game. And I don't know where we're gonna put this, to be quite honest, because it's big and we're kind of out of space, but I love this freaking game so much. Oh my god, I'm so happy we have it. I almost want to buy a second copy just for myself. It's so cool. This game absolutely drips theme. If you like Star Trek, if you know Star Trek, if you've been watching Star Trek for a long time and you've seen a lot of it, you will appreciate the effort that went into this game to make it as thematically accurate as it is. Everything that you do with any of the races that are in this box, it's the Klingons, the Romulans, and the Federation, it all makes sense. It's all, you know, as per the canon. It's just amazing. It's so cool. It has this really neat modular board that gets built up during the course of the game. It's built up as you go along, and the miniatures, everything about this game is awesome. It's not a short game. It's definitely a long game. You need 3 people to play it specifically. Yeah, it's awesome, and I love this game. Love this game. It is in our library too. I would love to see somebody come and play this someday because it's one of the best. We ordered in a couple copies of Mystic Vale, and by the time they got here, both of them have been spoken for already. So these are both special ordered. This is a great game. This is a deck building game with transparencies, and you're gonna upgrade your cards. The cards can get upgraded by sleeving in more transparencies into the sleeves over the course of the game. Really fun. Both spoken for. We'll have to try to get even more. We were running low on Tiny Towns, and so now we have restocked that. Great game that plays up to 6 players, and you can even play it remotely with your friends if they also have their own copies. And I highly recommend playing this remotely as well. It's a great experience. I've done it myself. Well, you might remember the game Whistle Stop. It came out a few years ago, and this is Whistle Mountain, the next game in that series. Looks very different than Whistle Stop. Also, of course, by Bezier Games. Yeah, it is a 2 to 4 player game, takes 90 minutes. It's a little bit heavier, I would say, than Whistle Stop, and it looks quite a bit more complex as well. It's a game that I'm pretty interested in trying out, to be perfectly honest, because I love Whistle Stop. I don't think it was a super popular game for whatever reason. I really like the mechanics of how you move around on the map and you have to plan things out, and I definitely want to try this one too. This is Whistle Mountain. So here's the D&D that wasn't in those other D&D boxes. We have the character sheets. We sold out of that. It's very handy to have these. Sometimes you need to make a new character on the fly and you don't have any printouts and you need some character sheets. I always keep my characters in this because it's a nice little handy folder that has room for holding the sheets. That's how I roll. D&D character sheets. Now for the first time we have a bunch of expansions for Terraforming Mars. Still, unfortunately, we do not have Prelude, the one that we've been waiting for. We only got one copy of the two we ordered before, and we have way more waiting for. This is Turmoil, Colonies, and Venus Next. So they all add different components to the game of Terraforming Mars, which is one of my favorite games right now. Terraforming Mars Turmoil adds a bunch of political stuff, like there's a Senate, and you can see there's the wings of the Senate there. That's where the diplomats sit, or the politicians sit. Venus Next adds projects going to Venus, and then Colonies. I haven't played Colonies. I don't know too much about it, but I'm assuming it adds colonies. Shockingly, that's just a guess. Maybe I'm wrong. But the expansions are very cool for Terraforming Mars, and we've never had them because we were pretty shy on getting expansions, to be honest, because we're kind of low on space. You know, Terraforming Mars is one of the games that we sell the most of, and I think a lot of people already have Terraforming Mars, and they're going to be looking for expansions for their friends and family and things like that. So I think it was a good thing to bring in, and if this does well, then we'll continue to stock the expansions. Restock on Illusion, the fun game where you have to guess what % of the card is a certain color. And it's a bit of a push your luck game a bit. A couple more copies of Illusion. The Mind, we've talked about this lots. You're trying to play your cards in order with your friends cooperatively without talking about what you have in your hand. It's very tricky and very fun. High Society, love High Society. This is a bidding auction game. The person who has spent the most money at the end of the game will lose even if they have the most points, so you have to be careful about how much you spend. Just an awesome, awesome game. Highly recommend it. We have it in the library. If you come here and you want a simple game to play that's lots of fun and will get you laughing, this is it, and ask us to teach you because we know how. It's awesome. And a number more copies of the game, the worst named game in history, The Game. And it's a great game though, and it's a very interesting cooperative game. You're trying to play numbered cards, very much like The Mind. You still can't talk about the cards, but instead of it being a real-time game, it's a game where you're planning out your moves without talking specifically about the cards you have in your hand. You have to play cards into different piles in ascending and descending order. Super fun. Check it out, and come and try it at the cafe. We have it. Restock on Bigfoot, Robin Hood and Bigfoot for Unmatched, which can be played standalone or combined with other Unmatched sets. A couple of those in. And then some restocks of King of Tokyo, and the first time the Dark Edition. We've had it once before, but it was a special order. This is the first time that we're just ordering it to have it on the shelf. The new Collector's Edition, which looks fancy. King of Tokyo, I like to call it Battle Monster Yahtzee, and this is the new Dark Edition of that with fancy components. And this is the tried but true, really cool version that is nice in its own right, but not as dark. Richard Garfield game, by the way, creator of Magic the Gathering. Done this game as well, and so many others. Very versatile designer. Sweet. As promised, more copies of Viticulture, the Stonemaier Games worker placement game for 1 to 6 players. These ones will actually be on the shelf. We rarely have this on the shelf. It will fly off the shelf. So if you want it, come and get it. And then we've been consistently selling Fireball Island, and I have to say they really have improved their production quality of the box, thank goodness. This is a really cool remake of the game from the early 80s. It's beautiful and colorful, and we have it in our library, and oftentimes people see this and they're like, I remember that game, and they just buy it instantly. And that makes me happy, because games that make people happy make me happy. And it's neat. And you know, not too many games look like this on the table, so something different is very cool. Well, this will make James happy. His favorite game is back in stock. Root, a game of woodland might and right by Leader Games, designed by Cole Worley, art by Kyle Farron, 2 to 4 player game. It's awesome. The art is amazing, as you can see. It's a very cool asymmetric war game. All the different factions you can play differently. It's a race to 30 points, or it's a race to dominance in the woodland. It's a very, very fun game. It's let's see, it says 60 to 90 minutes. It's probably more of a 2-hour game once you know how to play. First game might take you a little while longer. Definitely check this one out on Board Game Geek if you haven't already. We were running low on the Riverfolk expansion, which is the first expansion for this game that adds 2 new factions and some alternative ways to play the what's it called? Oh my goodness, my brain just died. The Vagabond. A couple more Vagabond options, and really cool. So there it is, the Riverfolk expansion. And then a game that Xavier told me tonight he does not like, but I like, and it's very fun in my opinion. This is a dice drafting game, and you have to place the dice according to various placement rules that are either built into the game in every game, or meant to optimize your score. Every game you have a different combination of scoring cards. I really like this game. I've always liked this game. I think it scales really well to all player counts, but it's obviously not for everybody. If this sounds like your kind of game, definitely watch a video of it. I'm sure you'll enjoy it, and you can come down to the cafe and try it too. I should really clarify my last statement. Xavier wanted me to clarify that one of the reasons he doesn't like Sagrada, and maybe the primary reason left a bad taste in his mouth, is that he is unfortunately colorblind. I can't really tell the difference between reds and greens, and there's reds and greens and purples and pinks and stuff in this game, and it's just a mess for him to play. He has a lot of trouble with it. So if you're colorblind, I would not suggest trying this game, to be honest. But if you're not colorblind, definitely worth giving it a try. Although I do know one other person who, as far as I know, isn't colorblind and also doesn't like the game. But that's 2 people out of many, many people that I've played this with, and I think it's a great game. I will play it anytime. I love it. Well, this is a box of great games. Here we got Fort, another Leader games with Kyle Farron art. This is a deck building game, and it's awesome, and we were running low, and so now we've got a bit more to keep us in the Fort land for a little bit longer. Very cool. And then the base game of Unmatched. We sell a lot of this online especially, and now we have one more of those. We had a couple left, I think, but now we have one more. Didn't want to run out. And then Cobble Fog is the first big box expansion. Well, I say again expansion, but all of these games are standalone playable. They're all mix and match with the base game. Cobble Fog has Dracula, Jekyll and Hyde, Invisible Man, and Sherlock Holmes. Look at these awesome minis. That Invisible Man one is super cool, isn't it? And you can play these characters against each other and see who would win. You know that who would win in a fight, Dracula or the Invisible Man? Well, now you can find out. All right, here we have a restock of Ice Team, which we were running low of, or if not sold out of. It's a very cool 2-player game by the Flying Games, which has some really nice bear minis wearing scarves, and there's even more in the box. It's a pretty cool game. A friend of mine has it and really enjoys it, so give it a try. Both of these copies of Pandemic Legacy Season 0 are spoken for already, but fear not, one of the 2 remaining boxes is full of more copies, so that will be, well, we had 1 copy left from our last shipment, and so we will have 4 copies left from this shipment, which is great because now people can actually come in and get it. They haven't really been able to because it got snagged up right away last time. So this is the new version of Pandemic Legacy. It is a prequel, of course, of Season 1. And we do have more Season 1 on the way, by the way. It should be here next week. And yeah, so there you go. Very, very popular game right now. People have been waiting a long time for this, and for good reason. Pandemic Legacy is still number 2. The Season 1 is number 2 on Board Game Geek. Great game. It was only supplanted by Gloomhaven. As promised, the full case of Pandemic Legacy Season 0. So these will all be available. Pick up at the store. And the last box. Wow, saving some good ones for last. Another big chunker box game, Catan Starfarers. This is the first time I'm seeing this in person, actually. I think, anyway. Catan Starfarers, or the new edition of Catan Starfarers. So there we go. There it is, a space-themed version of Catan. In a huge box, 3 to 4 player game. Takes 120 minutes according to the box, which probably means it's like 2.5, 3 hours. But anyway, there you go. Then we have a restock of Great Western Trail. I should probably start buying more than one of these at a time, because every time I buy it, it goes within like a day or two, and then I have to restock it. Great Western Trail is a great game. It's like number 3 on BGG right now. I can't remember if this or Terraforming Mars is ahead of each other. Very, very good game by Alexander Pfister. I really enjoy it. It's a big, long game, to be quite honest. It doesn't have to be super long, but there's a bit to get through. The first couple times you play, there's just a lot of moving parts to remember how it works, but it's a wicked, wicked game and definitely worth trying out. And it is in our library. And then we have a restock on bubbles too that we're going to use when we send you your games, when you order them from meeples.ca. So we love it when we get restocks of those bubbles. They're great for packing. Thanks very much for watching this very long video, and thanks Xavier for filming it after the cafe closed tonight. As always, we appreciate your feedback on the videos. You can comment on the videos, you can send us emails, info@meeples.ca. You can also email us at info@meeples.ca if you want to special order or have us reserve anything for you. Anything that isn't out yet or we need a restock on and you want us to hold one for you, we will do that. We do it a lot. I don't know, I probably have had about like almost a dozen requests just today for things like that. So don't think you're imposing or anything like that. Happy to do it. I do it every day, and I love interacting with customers and finding out what they're interested in and finding it and making everybody happy when I bring the stuff in they want. So again, thumbs up on the video if you liked it. Share to your friends. Tell them that we exist, please. Especially if your friends are in Penticton and or nearby and can come down and sample our awesome food and try our board game library. But tell everybody, because word of mouth is really valuable to us, especially this year. And then of course, subscribing to our channel and hitting that bell means you'll get notified anytime we post new videos like this. And if you're still watching after all of this blah, blah, blah that I say at the end of every video, I want to thank you for watching these videos, because I really appreciate the feedback that we get on these, and we still make them because people do watch them. So thank you very much for being a subscriber and watching these videos and supporting our store, both online and in store. And yeah, so that's all I have for today. Until next time, stay safe, be calm and kind, and see you soon.